The San Antonio River running right through the heart of downtown San Antonio, Texas. And for the third time in 7 seasons, this city will play host to the NBA Finals. You're looking at SBC Arena, about a 15-minute drive from downtown. Capacity crowd, obviously. They've all filed in, and they are ready for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The San Antonio Spurs hosting the Detroit Pistons.
Don't you wanna go for a ride? Just keep your hands inside and make the most out of life. Now don't you take it for granted. And I'm steady, but I'm starting to shake. And I don't know how much more I can take. Oh, this is it now. Everybody get down. This is all I can take. This is how my heart breaks. You take a hit now. You feel it break down. Make you stay wide awake. This is how my heart breaks. Oh, baby. This is how my heart breaks. Got it. This is how my heart breaks.
A 90-degree evening in San Antonio. The atmosphere inside matches the heat outside. Game 1 of the NBA Finals at hand as the Eastern Conference champion Detroit Pistons get ready to face the Western Conference champion San Antonio Spurs. Al Michaels with UB Brown. Welcome to San Antonio. Michelle Tafoya and Stuart Scott will be working the sidelines. You know, in all sports, it's the old adage, defense wins championships. And it's true, in basketball last year, that's how Detroit won it. And this year, you look at these two teams, they rank 1-2 in defense in the NBA, allowing the fewest and second fewest points. But some people think defense equals dull. Not here. San Antonio, of course, starts with the big fundamental, Tim Duncan. But when you have people like Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker, and you go over to the other side, and Detroit has Rip Hamilton and Rasheed Wallace, you have guys who can take your breath away at any point over what might be, if it goes 7 games, a fortnight of basketball. So welcome to the finals, and we welcome in UB Brown. First of all, let's talk about San Antonio. Champions in '99. Champions in '03, seeking their third in 7 years. How do you assess this club as we get started?
Well, Al, it's defense first, but they adjust their offense to their opponent. They're coming off the Phoenix series where 3 players, Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan, all averaged over 20 points. The problem for Detroit, can you play them off the dribble? When Parker takes you down inside, he's looking to score first, pass second. You must stay out of foul trouble with the knifing of Parker and Ginobili going to the rim. Then when you say Tim Duncan, you're talking about 25 points a game and also 13 rebounds. He shoots a high percentage and then he anchors their defense. So, do they have the total picture? So far, in 3 rounds, they've been impressive.
Now the Pistons, we saw them last year. They get in and everybody says, oh no, they have no chance against the Lakers. And the next thing you know, the Lakers disintegrate and Detroit wins in 5. They're a better team this year. So they come in, they're seeking to win it back to back. How do you stack up? How do the Pistons stack up in your mind in this series now?
Well, first, the offense is very underrated, Al. 4 players are averaging between 15 and 21 points. Now, the guy who makes the metal go all through the game is Rip Hamilton. Just keep it. He's an energizer bunny. If key move is to curl into the paint, he's an excellent 8 to 10 foot shooter. Then, if you try to cheat, watch Eddie Jones cheat. He will bump and fade, and then 18 to 20 he scored. This is a team in its half-court offense, dictates tempo, high percentage shots. Also, they take care of the basketball, limited turnovers, and then one of the top offensive rebounding teams in the league. This is going to be a barn burner.
Yeah, making some a wonderful series. Glad you're with us. Welcome to Game 1 for more of the pregame festivities. Right now, here's the PA announcer, Stan Kelly.
Parker, back to Duncan, wide open. Count it, baby! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the finals where legends are born. Tonight, it's Game 1 featuring the Detroit Pistons and your very own San Antonio Spurs. Last week, the NBA lost a truly special member of its family when Hall of Famer George Mikan passed away at the age of 80. As a member of the Minneapolis Lakers, Mikan was the anchor of the NBA's first dynasty, leading the Lakers to 5 titles over the span of 6 years. We ask everyone, please rise for a moment of silence for one of the NBA's 50 greatest players, George Mikan.
Tip-off moments away now. Game 1, NBA Finals, Detroit against San Antonio. Al Michaels and UB Brown welcoming you back to San Antonio. We've talked about all of the stars. There's always an X factor. It means somebody comes off the bench. Who's the X factor for each team?
Well, it's Orion Muhammad for San Antonio. In the previous series with Phoenix, 19 points, 13 rebounds. That's a ton, Al.
And there is Robert Horry, and he is seeking a 6th ring. Muhammad came over from the Knicks, and he has been extremely valuable. And it would figure, maybe somebody, I mean, in the NBA Finals so often, somebody comes off the bench and does the job. And maybe a Lindsey Hunter, too, for Detroit defensively.
Yeah, I'm looking for Lindsey Hunter to bust out into 3-point shooting. He's struggling with a shot right now, but he's an excellent defender. And then you have McDyess. McDyess is the guy who can get you double figure rebounding, and he's an excellent defender.
To the sidelines we go first, Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Al, it was just 2 years ago that the Spurs won their last NBA championship, their second, and what a difference those 2 years have made. Tony Parker told me tonight that this Spurs team is much more confident, more comfortable, more mature than the 2003 edition, and he said he thinks they're even better. Their focus may be even sharper tonight as well. They have great respect for the Detroit Pistons, number 1, because they are the defending champs, and number 2, because they've endured so much turmoil to get here. And as Tony Parker underscored to me, the Pistons provide many difficult matchups. Now for the Pistons' perspective, here's Stuart Scott.
Michelle, for the first time since '87, the last 2 champions are facing each other in the finals. As far as the Pistons are concerned, there really isn't much difference Game 1 this year and Game 1 last year. As Lindsey Hunter told me, we're still the visiting team, and we're still the underdog. I said, Lindsey, sounds like you got a chip on your shoulder. He looked at me, smiled, and he said, maybe a little one. The biggest difference, though, is the way that other people see this matchup. Most all the Piston players say, hey, look, last year we knew what we could do. Nobody else did. This year, we still know what we can do, but now everybody else does. Al Hubie, game on.
Thank you, Stuart. No, they're not going to sneak up on anybody this year, though. San Antonio is favored to win the series. One reason, of course, would be home court advantage. 4 of the 7 will be played here. Again, the starting lineups, Wallace, Prince, and Ben Wallace up front with Billups and Hamilton in the backcourt for Detroit, Duncan, Bowen, and Muhammad in the front court for San Antonio, and the guards, Parker and Ginobili. Ron Garrettson, Mike Callahan, and Steve Javie are the officials tonight as we get ready for Game 1 in Texas. They'll have 2 days off. Game 2 is Sunday night. The Spurs, meanwhile, have had 8 days off. They have not played since a week ago yesterday when they clinched the West against Phoenix. Detroit flew to Miami, won Game 7, and then came right to San Antonio, so they've had 2 days off. Crowd standing. We get ready for the opening tip. Hamilton's been wearing the mask for a couple of years. He's fine. His broken nose long mended, but just feels more comfortable with it. It's a love affair before we even start.
Well, one thing is there's a great respect factor on behalf of both teams. They appreciate the work habits defensively at both ends, and then they also know that they are tempo-oriented ball club. Big difference will be that San Antonio is trying to fast break at every opportunity.
Muhammad beat Ben Wallace to the opening tip, so the first possession is San Antonio's. This is Manu Ginobili laying it off for Tim Duncan. He bounces it inside to Muhammad. Hook off the glass goes to make it 2-0 Spurs.
Well, when you look at Detroit, remember now, they slow it down. They're very methodical, well-disciplined. They take good shot attempts, and you must keep them off the offensive board.
Ben Wallace, first shot of the game from Rip Hamilton is long. Rebounded Duncan, and here comes Ginobili.
As this series moves on, Detroit must do a good job in their transition defense because the three perimeter guys can get it done for you in San Antonio.
Bowen, who's a defensive specialist. Duncan lobs it inside, but the lob was too high. Muhammad couldn't get there, and back come the Pistons with Phillips, last year's Finals MVP. This is Rasheed Wallace.
Now, this is the big San Antonio matchup right here. And you can see Duncan will tell you that Rasheed Wallace's length is a problem because he shoots up over the top of him.
As he did there. Duncan had a hand in his face. Rasheed with a turnaround to tie the game at 2. Tony Parker, Duncan in his 8th year, and all 8 years he's been all NBA first team, but it's knocked away by Rasheed Wallace, and now Hamilton feeds Phillips down the lane. Tayshaun Prince, he's guarded by Ginobili.
Now this is a tough cover right here.
Very tough.
See, Ginobili is giving away 3 inches to Prince, plus Prince has a 7'2" wingspan. So he posts him up, he can shoot the hook or he took the jump shot right up over the top of Mono.
So Prince is 6'9" vertically and 7'2" horizontally, and Duncan misses the dunk. And back come the Pistons again with Phillips feeding it to Hamilton. Rebound, Rasheed Wallace off the offensive glass, and that's going to be so important tonight, both for Detroit, obviously, and for San Antonio to stop that.
Now, in this game tonight, from the foul line down, we have great shot blockers.
Hamilton knocks one down, so 6 straight points, and Popovich, 2 minutes and 21 seconds into the game, says, hold on a second. Hold on. Timeout.
This is a good timeout. He wants to regroup, get his message back across, and the big thing is you saw Hamilton at his best. There was a screen, he read it, and he just faded and knocked it in. Now here's Prince coming on the baseline. See, that rotation was late. Anytime you're late with him, he's an acrobatic type of a finisher. Now here, you can see the defender, Bowen, tried to cheat by going through. We call that shooting the gap. Well, Rick Hamilton next to Reggie Miller is the best that I've ever seen in bumping away from the defense, read the defense. It's not how fast you come off the screen, it's how you read the defender.
So the way the game started, Popovich, you very rarely see a timeout 2:21 in. San Antonio scored the first 2. That was a 20-second timeout, by the way. But Popovich just wanted to get the ship righted early.
Well, he does not like the high percentage shots that Detroit is getting up there in that 2 minutes. It made it look awfully easy.
This is Muhammad. He's guarded by Wallace and sets the screen, which Ginobili works off of, and then underneath the ball is knocked away and out of bounds with 7 on the timer.
Whenever you play against Detroit, when you get down into the paint or on the baseline, their length, they're so long that they cut off the diagonal passes to the opposite side of the floor. That is a major key in their defensive philosophy.
Duncan, 4 on the shot clock. Rasheed Wallace with the rebound.
Yeah, good block by Rasheed. He had his hand on the shot.
And then Duncan with a collision with Ben Wallace, and Ben Wallace goes down. And the foul is called.
Now, you know yourself, you have an early foul right here, and what you have to do, keep an eye right in the middle of the floor. As Ben Wallace is coming down, Duncan shears him off with a forearm, a definite foul.
First foul of the game, and then getting free underneath is Hamilton, but he can't cash in.
Well, cherish that because you just do not see that often.
And Ginobili is down there alone and loses control of the ball underneath. It's out of bounds to San Antonio with 18 seconds left, so that took only 6 seconds on the break and 18 on the inbound now.
San Antonio's half-court offense will be tested. They are accustomed to blowing by people off the dribble. Detroit plays the dribble as well as any team in this league, and then they back it up with Wallace, McDyess, and Wallace with the shot blocking.
Ginobili played on the gold medal winning Argentinian basketball team, and that's knocked away with 10 seconds left. So you have Ginobili with a chance for the exacta. You win a gold medal in the summer, and then you come back early next summer and you win an NBA championship.
Not bad. His trophy case is full. You know, a couple of MVPs from the old Italian league. Yeah, he's off and rolling.
Here's Ginobili. And the thing about it is he can do Larry Brown in on both ends because Brown coached the U.S. Olympic team last year and Popovich was his top assistant.
In the early going, San Antonio definitely showing rust with the 7-8 day layoff.
Prince gets fouled on his way to the hoop. Foul is on Ginobili. Popovich has already won 2 titles. He and Larry Brown, and you probably read about it, are truly best pals. In fact, with Prince at the line, Popovich was the best man at Larry's wedding. And I asked Greg before the game, I said, how many years ago was that? He said, I don't know, 10 or 11. He said, don't ask Larry, he'll never remember. So I'll ask Shelley when I see her. 7-2 Detroit. Seven straight points for the defending champions. Duncan rolls through the lane, puts it up and in.
Hey, the double team came late. Detroit tries to play you man-to-man in the post area so that they stay and take away your three-point shooting. But with Duncan, when he puts it down, they're going to run at him and try to go for the forced turnover.
Rasheed Wallace posting Duncan and puts it in over him again. Second time he's done it.
Yes, indeed. And Duncan admitted to us yesterday that is a problem for him when you guard Rasheed Wallace because of his length. And you can see they're going to Rasheed early to establish the low post game.
7.5 left in the period. Ginobili has it swatted away. Wallace created that steal. Now Billups loses it, and it's off his foot, off Chauncey's foot. Ball belongs to the Spurs.
Now, if you do not get or grasp the length of Detroit, already we have had 4 deflections, and we have not played 5 minutes. You think you're going by them, they deflect the ball. You think you get down in the paint that you can hit a guy who's wide open in the corner, they deflect the pass. They are a nuisance. That's what they are.
And you mentioned those passing angles as well, as Duncan tries to save it. 10 on the shot clock, but it's going to go to Detroit. I guess if you're used to passing at certain angles and through certain lanes, and then all of a sudden you get a lengthier defender, it takes time to adjust to it.
Yeah, but see, that's discipline of the defensive team, Detroit. They rotate well, they switch well, and they do not worry about mismatches.
San Antonio has now turned the ball over 4 times, and Bowen commits the foul, so they've had 4 turnovers. And 3 team fouls already. Detroit's had 1 turnover and no fouls. And the Pistons with a 5-point lead. Billups comes up short, Duncan off the glass.
When 2 teams of equal talent play one another, the team that gets the easy baskets usually wins.
Parker loves to drive. That floater doesn't drop. Meanwhile, Brent Barry and Robert Horry are the first substitutions for either team, both coming into the game, and either guy can light it up from three-point country.
2 defensive teams, 1 and 2 in the league that we have here. San Antonio 1, Detroit 2. In order to sustain over a 7-game series, to win your 4, you know that you must get easy shots on second shot attempts. You must score in the open floor when you get the opportunity, because there will not be that many, and then you must get to the foul line and shoot a high percentage on the foul line.
It would figure the first 2 substitutions of the game are San Antonio's. They will use a lot more guys a lot longer than will Larry Brown, but let's get fouled here.
Well, the 4 out of the 5 regulars who start for Detroit, their minutes are always up around 40 to 42 at playoff time. But San Antonio, they have no one averaging 40 minutes, all right? They are going to stay within their normal rotation, 36, 37, 38 minutes for their main people, because they have incredible faith in Barry and Horry, who are giving them 26 minutes apiece in the playoffs.
And for Detroit, you might see Hamilton go all 48. But their starting 5, played together as a unit more than any starting five in the league this season. 7-point lead for the Pistons. Bowen. Horry now. Not even close. Might have been partially blocked.
It was definitely blocked by Ben Wallace.
And Prince lays it up and gets the bounce. 13-4 Detroit, and Popovich is going to have to take another timeout.
Yeah, I like the timeout, mainly because San Antonio is being stymied every chance when they think they're going to take you off the dribble. The defense has been there. And at the other end, I do not like my transition defense if I'm coaching San Antonio right now.
Biggest first quarter deficit for San Antonio in the playoffs. Spoke with Greg Popovich yesterday, and his early fears have been manifest tonight in the first 6 minutes of the game.
We're really concerned with making sure that we value the basketball. Turnovers are points for these guys. And if we are sloppy in our execution at all, that's going to really be trouble for us. So value in the ball is really huge for us.
I'd say that was perfect analysis. Let's go to Michelle.
Well, in his huddle just now, Al, he said, all right, let's start the game over now. We've only been practicing for 2 days on this stuff. Calm down and play basketball. You've had 4 turnovers. That's just ridiculous. You're not moving the ball. We've been doing nothing. We practiced for the last 8 days, so get your heads together and start playing. Not happy.
4 turnovers, 4 fouls, down by 9 points halfway through the opening period. Parker. Can't get around that Duncan screen. Shot clock down to about 4. All the way in. Layup doesn't go, and back it comes, and Tayshaun Prince into the front court for the Pistons.
Now, if you appreciate defense, the rotation and the intimidation on that layup was just beautiful to watch.
Hamilton gets free inside. He scores and gets fouled. Hamilton so often, and he's so active. If you follow the NBA, you know about it. But if you're watching basketball occasionally and you're here for the finals, Hamilton is like a whirlwind. He is all over the place all the time.
Well, he reads the defense so well. If you follow him, he's curling. He's going to get down inside. The acrobatic shots, you know, you look at him and you say he's a thin man. He's 190 pounds. He takes hits well, and then he can also make the score. He can score and have a potential three-point play.
11-point lead. That was Brent Barry's second foul, and already San Antonio with 5 fouls.
There it is again.
Go to the line the rest of the quarter. Another turnover. Here goes Hamilton. And Detroit is off to a near perfect start.
Oh, you love the defense. The fans are all upset because they think it's contact. Well, if this is going to be refereed this way, in the first 5 minutes, you must adjust.
Here's Duncan.
No way can you play Duncan inside the defensive circle. He's right in front of the basket. If you play behind him, it's death.
17-6 Detroit. 4:40 remaining in the opening period in game 1. Ben Wallace with Morey on him, goes right by him, but can't knock it down. Now Parker has it knocked away and out of bounds.
Now, in the early going, Al, the transition offense for San Antonio is non-existent. They had the advantage, 2-on-1, 3-on-2, 4-on-3, but nothing is happening because of the deflection.
Crowd again wanted a foul. There hasn't been a single foul against Detroit. Horry from the corner. Duncan gets it. And finally, you've got a whistle and a big mock cheer from the crowd because it's Detroit's first foul in 7 minutes and 44 seconds.
when you coach basketball at any level, high school, college, pro, in the church leagues, recreation league, this is what you want to see. You want to see a defensive team, and you want to see them play with an intensity and then a rotation where they sacrifice themselves for the betterment of the ball club. And then when you get in the paint, they are going to challenge every opportunity. So when you lay off for over a week period of time, you're coming in here, you're playing against your second unit that cannot ever give you the type of intensity that they're seeing from Detroit tonight. So the timing is going to be off for this first quarter. What you're hoping for if you're coaching San Antonio is that your ball club will pick up its rhythm and also connect better and make crisper passes as you move along.
Admits to a fear of sharks. Like, who isn't afraid of sharks? Loan sharks, too. Chauncey Billups.
They're methodical. They take their time and run with their night. They're going to post up down inside. They're looking for Ginobili. See, this is a tough cover for Ginobili.
Prince puts it up. Can't get that to drop it. It's tapped back in, I think, by Big Ben.
Big Ben came from up at the foul line now, right down in traffic without a collision.
And that man was your defensive player of the year. He'll give you offense from time to time. In fact, in one game in the playoffs early on, he scored 29 points. Here's Duncan coming up here. But they get 19 to 9.
Well, in the early going, you're seeing that Duncan can get his. Duncan can get his as long as it's a quick catch in the move. The rest of the guys here are struggling.
Duncan 7 points and 6 rebounds. His teammates with 2 points and no rebounds. Here's Parker driving all the way, lays it in. Tony Parker loves to go to the basket. For a point guard, he scores a ton of his points on the layups. And now San Antonio begins to climb back into the game with 3:04 remaining in the opening period. Detroit hot at the outset, but the Spurs back to make it an 8-point differential. Parker driving all the way through Billups to lay it in. 19-11. Downtown San Antonio, Texas, game 1 of the NBA Finals. Detroit, hot start, leading 19-11. At the beginning of the game, we first mentioned defenses. These two teams ranked 1-2 in points allowed, which is the best way to measure defenses over the course of an 82-game season. Spurs 88.4 they allowed, Pistons 89.5. It's the first time in 35 years you've had the 1 and 2 teams meeting in the finals, 1 and 2 defensively. And for those of you who can do math real quickly in your head, you go back to that series between the Lakers and the Knicks. The Willis Reed comes out of the dressing room series. That's the last time they had 1 and 2 defensively.
Both teams are in the top 5 in every major defensive category, and then they are both right there in shot blocking, and that's the anchor of both defenses.
Antonio McDyess is in the game as Detroit goes to its bench, and the foul is called on San Antonio. Mohammed. Just to clean up something before, when it looked like Ben Wallace had tipped in a shot, they actually gave it to Rasheed Wallace. Well, they gave it to a Wallace, just R. Wallace instead of B. Bowen, the foul is on Bowen. It's his second personal foul. Bill Laimbeer and the Detroit Shock taking on the New York Liberty in WNBA action coming your way on ESPN2 Sunday. Ben Wallace is a terrible free throw shooter. There's no other way to describe it. Like the worst in history among guys who have taken at least 500 free throws.
Well, for the career, he's a 42% foul shooter. But what he is such an active body that he is going to get to the line, mainly because he sacrifices himself either on the offensive glass or at the defensive end. Plus, he runs so hard on the break, he's in a lot of collisions in the lane. And any time that you win the Defensive Player of the Year award in this year, in this league 3 times, you know, that's quite an accomplishment.
For sure. Oh, there's no question.
And then when you consider the fact that he was undrafted, it's even a bigger accomplishment.
And three-time, as you say, Defensive Player of the Year. No stranger to the All-Star game. And as you know, Yubi, obviously, as Glenn Robinson has come into the game, and Robert Horry with a jump hook that doesn't go. You don't have to be a great free throw shooter to be one of the all-time greats. Shaq, Wilt Chamberlain, two classic examples.
That's right. Right now, Popovich is looking for some offense. That's why he came with Glenn Robinson.
Now here's Lindsey Hunter.
Lindsey's struggling with his shot. He's only shooting in the high 20s for the playoff, but he's such an excellent defender. And like Larry said, he needs to give Phillips a blow.
So he got the offensive rebound, gets a second shot, can't get that to go down. 1:45 left in the quarter.
In the early going, you have to be impressed with the transition defense of Detroit. They are getting back and fighting San Antonio. They are making it difficult for them to get to the rim for the uncontested layup.
Detroit playing brilliantly defensively, allowing only 11 points late in the period, and Ginobili gets fouled.
Prince is laying off of his man. He's playing Ginobili, who is averaging 22 points throughout the playoffs. Ginobili has jumped his scoring from 16 to 22. So he plays off him. That time he thought he was coming up for the shot. But at 6'9" and with that wingspan, he can give him a full step and allow Ginobili to make the move. So he's giving and giving on the drive. He'll force him into taking jump shots.
Ginobili makes both. Those are his first 2 points of the game. And it's taken away. And Horry stayed in bounds. And Robinson with a slam dunk.
Now that's the first time that we have seen the half-court trap. Now it came off the score, and then right in that corner. Here it comes again. They're taking it back. They were going to rotate zone after that trap.
And away from the ball is another foul.
Yeah, see, Popovich is very upset. He thought that he had it earlier. He thought that he had it right there. They wanted that. Then as they had the movement again, then they had another loose ball foul.
Foul on Hamilton. His first. The only player in the game with 2 fouls, with 2 players, would be Bowen and Barry of San Antonio.
Now Arroyo just came into the game to give Lindsey Hunter a break. And right now Detroit is rotating 8 guys, but surprisingly, San Antonio has begun beyond their normal rotation by also including Glenn Robinson.
Beno Udrih is in the game, replacing Parker. This is Horry getting it over to Ginobili, still looking for his first field goal, and picks a good time for it.
Tayshaun Prince has been out there every second. The key thing is fatigue over the 48 minutes.
Now McDyess over Horry, but Robinson gets a hand on it. Robinson not playing in a long time because his mother died during the Phoenix series, has come in off the bench, give them a little spark. Misses here, McDyess off the boards.
Say, well, why would Popovich play Glenn Robinson? He, 8 seasons in this league, has averaged over 20 points a game. Now, we know he's only played limited action this year. He joined the team late, but he still can put the ball in the basket.
Help to give him the spark here, right back in the game, and then we got a foul away from the play called on Prince.
Just a great play by Robert Horry. Watch Horry rotate and take the charge. Right there, totally outside of the defensive circle. See, Horry is the intangible man. Everyone just wants to talk about his scoring. Yeah, sure he scores, and he's a great three-point shooter. But what he is a reliable rebounder. In half the game, he's giving you 8 rebounds, and also the intangibles of taking charges and getting loose balls.
2 fouls on Prince, so after Detroit doesn't pick up a foul for almost 8 minutes, they're picking them up in bunches here. 2 personals on Tayshaun, and that's out of bounds off Parker.
Now you must be careful. 4.3 seconds is a long time. Right now they're going to come right in with Billups and Rasheed Wallace. Now, if you make a catch, if you want to make this inbounds pass to go forward, because if you go forward, you know that you can get the ball up here, get at least 2 to 3 bounces, and make something good happen.
4.3 seconds remaining in the opening period.
Try not to pass the ball back.
Hamilton, guarded by Barry. He'll launch. And that's the way the period will end. But Detroit led by a score of 17-4. And then the Spurs make a run as the period winds down. So it's 20-17. Pistons on top. End of 1. In game 1 of the NBA Finals on ABC. San Antonio on this hot Thursday night in June. End of 1, Detroit 20, San Antonio 17. Al Michaels with UB Brown, Michelle Tafoya, and Stuart Scott. And let's go to Michelle.
Well, Al, in that last time out, to say that Greg Popovich was livid would be the understatement of the century. He told his team, I don't care if we get killed as long as we play right, but if we keep playing like high school kids who don't know the plays, we're going to get killed. Let's start paying attention. You don't get that many chances to be here, and I'm not going to let you screw it up. Play hard like this is the last game of your lives. Now over to Stuart Scott.
Michelle, in that quarter timeout, Larry Brown told his team, guys, we didn't commit a foul for the first half of the first quarter. He said, then we start committing fouls. But he said the reason why is because San Antonio was getting physical with Detroit. He said, they're getting physical with you guys, and you guys are retaliating, committing the second foul. He said, don't let them get so physical with you. Al, he'll be back to you.
Thank you, Stuart. And they did get physical toward the end of the first quarter. So Duncan says, the foul's on me.
Al, to back up what Stuart just said, let's give it a thought here. Detroit, 5 block shots, 4 offensive rebounds, and they forced 5 turnovers. So right now, in the early going first quarter, that is a great quarter.
There was no foul. So Duncan expressive. But no foul was called, and Ginobili has it for San Antonio. Early second quarter. Devin Brown is in the game, 23 for the first time. He's rarely played over the last 6 weeks with a back injury, and Duncan has it contested by Rasheed Wallace.
That's their 6th block, Al. And you know, the old story, you can talk all you want about rhythm and tempo and playing together and all that kind of business, but they are blocking shots. They are negating what you are running.
Billups off the glass.
San Antonio thrives on ball movement. If you don't have something, reverse the ball, get it to the other side of the floor.
Ginobili splits the defense. Outside as well as inside, and then Duncan is there to put it back in.
Yeah, that was close. That was close to a goaltender. But I thought that it was coming off the rim. And when it was off the rim, Duncan seemed to get it. They're allowing a lot of contact with Ginobili guarding with Hamilton.
Hamilton, who loves to take those shots from mid-range near the baseline. Normally money for him.
Oh, when you're the premier guy in the league, it's not a bad shot. There's that rotating defense. They fronted Duncan, they forced the lob, they came from the weak side.
And then Billups launches one from beyond the arc. Drains a 3, and Popovich up and down again. 25-19 Pistons.
Now, during the year, you have to remember, Billups shot 3s at 43%. He will come down and just shoot them in transition or in a set offense.
Here's Horry. And Horry's been known to drain a few of them as well. League average is annually around 35% from three-point country.
It's heating up now, Al, at both ends. It's kind of nice.
Yep.
It's what we expected. We're going to see great defense. You're going to have to extend your offensive philosophy, and your guys are going to have to set good, tough screens here, and then shoot with being pressured.
Wallace, and use your bench liberally. You've already got a lot of substitutions. You've got 3 Spurs ready to come back into the game. Looks like half the crowd is along the sideline here. And 1 Piston. Brown misses. Dice has it knocked away by Ori. And now San Antonio will make their 3 substitutions. Detroit won, but after the break. Timeout called here, 25-22, Detroit. The famed and fabled Riverwalk area in San Antonio. Shops and restaurants and lots of folks every day and all night long up and down the Riverwalk. 25-22, 3-point game here. Hubie, let's take a look at the defense.
Just keep an eye right here. The basketballs here will be passed. They're going to front Duncan in the post. Now watch the offside defender come in here on the deflection. Now once the pass, they're fronting, and there he comes, and you get your deflection right to your rotator coming. That would have been a tough move for Duncan. You say, why are they fronting? Duncan has 4 field goals. The rest of the Spurs are 4 for 16. They're going to make it hard for Duncan to get the catch.
Duncan has 9 points. No other Spur has more than 4. Phillips, and Duncan comes out to guard him. So he goes by Tim and lays it in. You've got Duncan outside guarding your point guard.
Well, that was on a switch, a miscommunication, and you just love Phillips. See, Phillips was not going to settle for a jumper. He's taking Duncan right to the glass. Now see Chauncey. Chauncey's a very strong player in the upper body. And once he get down inside, see, he just ate up Duncan. The defensive rotation was late. If I have a complaint like a coach of San Antonio, the defensive rotations are not what we are accustomed to. They're late. They're not getting them before they get in the lane.
Duncan puts it in. Detroit by 3.
Timmy's the only man that they can find right now who can make a catch by pinning his man.
Here's Arroyo. Phillips has all of Detroit's points in this quarter, all 7. Can't make it 9.
Yeah, he was upset because he definitely got hit right on the elbow on the shot.
Tony Parker. Barry. Nazir Mohammed. Parker outside. Arroyo stays with him. To Barry in the corner. Duncan got the rebound, but then it gets stolen, and there's a foul on the way out by Barry, and that will be his 3rd. You know, I'm taking a look at the guys in the game right now, Hubie, and how different it is from the conference finals. The other night when Detroit wins in Game 7 in Miami, Arroyo doesn't play a minute. And for San Antonio, Robinson and Devin Brown didn't play a minute in the entire series against Phoenix.
Well, Larry Brown needs to rest Phillips and give him a shot, mainly because of the energy spent guarding Parker. And, you know, he made that known before. Now, that is a man's play right there.
McDyess.
That's right. McDyess catching that ball. A tough catch because Muhammad went for the interception. Now, just watch this. Now, you're going to say high-low, and watch Muhammad go over the top, and now he's coming strong. And that's the way to end. Don't guess, because we got so much shot blocking here tonight. Don't send up anything soft, because they'll be coming right back at you.
McDyess, he was going to be the next savior a couple of years ago as Ginobili comes in for Barry with his 3 fouls. But he's been through major surgeries. He was able to come back, but he wasn't going to be the guy to lead New York to the promised land. Now he's found a home and almost a perfect role as the 6th guy for Brown in Detroit.
Well, you love his athleticism. You love the fact that he's a tough defensive post guy, and he can score for you facing the basket or posting up.
Parker gets fouled by Arroyo.
As this game moves on now, people will see the quickness of Parker. Just like, you know, when the all the defenders for Detroit are talking about Parker. They'll tell you, right there, one of the quickest, if not the quickest, from circle to circle in this league. And he's constantly challenging you getting to the rim.
Well,
he's a scorer first and then an assist guy second.
Well, his quickness has created 2 fouls on Arroyo in a few seconds. 14 on the timer as the ball comes in from the side of the court. Parker gets alone from three-point land, isn't even close. Ginobili tries to save and is able to by knocking it off Arroyo and out of bounds.
At every level of basketball, you tell the players, when you have an opportunity to catch the ball before it goes out of bounds, please catch it. Do not allow another player to make a great defensive effort or put the onus on the referee to make a decision. Well, now wait a second, which team is the ball off? Always grab the basketball.
Duncan resting. Ginobili off an Ori screen, then into the corner to Brown. Brown runs into Wallace. Wallace goes down, but there's no foul. Billups winds up with the ball. What a move! Ori had to go over to take the other guy, and then he just puts it on his hip and puts it in the basket.
You always tell defenders, when you're back, make the ball change direction. Do not allow the guy to stutter step you or give you a ball fake. Watch this behind the back fake, and then Ori goes for the fake. Chauncey just pulls it right back. Make the ball change direction. Sounds easy.
Parker's going to drive. But McDyess was there, so it comes back outside. 6.5 remaining in the half, and there goes Parker in, but he can't get it to drop. Scramble underneath. Comes back to Tony for the basket.
You have to be impressed with the defensive front line of Detroit. They have taken away the initial move and the secondary move of San Antonio on occasion off the dribble.
Wallace comes out for the high screen. 5 on the shot clock. Ben Wallace with the ball. And we've got a shot clock violation.
The Spurs needed that, Al. They needed that to give them some confidence for their defense.
5:51 remaining in the opening half. The Detroit Pistons 31, the San Antonio Spurs 26 in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Bob Lanier, Clyde Drexler, and Ubi during the break. The NBA does a great job of just reminding you who helped make the league, what the league is all about, the foundation, and you go to something like this and you see all these guys out in the middle of the court, and it's like a bubblegum card collection.
Absolutely. It's wonderful for the fans because when you talk about the history of the league, you had Bob Lanier, you had Elijah Wan, you had Dr. J, you had the Iceman, George Gervin, Artis Gilmore. So you had the ABA guys and the NBA guys. And then Clyde Drexler. What a collection of talented people, top 50 performers that we had in the game. And there you have George Gervin. His number was retired. The Iceman, and could he light it up? ABA, NBA.
We saw him before the game. In fact, he's from Michigan originally,
yes,
and now makes his home here in San Antonio. So a guy with connections to both teams, in effect. On the floor, those are the men of the moment for the Spurs, with Duncan, who leads the team in scoring with 11 points, getting the rest. Ori to Bowen in the corner. He loves to shoot from that spot. They get the offensive rebound. Nazr Mohammed, and then has it blocked out of bounds by Wallace.
Now that shot from the corner, the three-point shot by Bowen. San Antonio 1 for 7 in threes. That is only the second good look that they have had with the ball movement. And you must continue to move the ball as this game moves on and hope that you'll get fatigue in the coverage by Detroit.
Both teams noted for not only the defense, but defending against the perimeter shots.
Absolutely.
Ball out of bounds with 19 on the 24. San Antonio took a 2-0 lead. Then Detroit won on a run. They've held the lead since. San Antonio just hanging right with them. 5-point game. Bowen lays it off for Ginobili.
How about the coverage?
Yeah, by Hunter. That was terrific. Bowen missing here. Looked like he had a free shot, and then all of a sudden Hunter came out of nowhere.
They've just done a masterful job for a quarter and a half of coverage on the lane penetration. Then when the ball is going out, most times they've been able to recover and get back out there with their athleticism and challenge the three-point shooter.
Foul is on Hunter. That is 5 team fouls. Here comes Parker. So over the limit right now with about half the period to play. Horry for 2, missing the first. Dancing with the Stars, hot new show coming your way this Wednesday here on ABC. 6 celebrities paired with 6 international dancing stars in that competition. Yubi tried out for it, just missed.
Both teams struggling on the line right now. Detroit 4 for 8. 4 for 6 for San Antonio.
Phillips now with 11 points. He's the only Piston in double figures. 5 minutes left in the half. Good wraparound bounce pass into Wallace. He can't cash. Parker quickly down the floor. He's going to go all the way, and he's going to drop it in. Tony Parker, coast to coast.
You know, Al, as soon as he breaks that foul line, he can finish with the lefty hook or the righty hook. You must play him for the score first.
Parker, and it's really as a foul is called here on Parker. Tony Parker lives in the lane. He takes as many shots as a center, as a 7-foot guy, from within 6 feet. And 8 of his 9 shots tonight have been within 6 feet of the hoop.
Al, you must want to take the physical punishment to do that. That's courageous for a player of his size. Now, you know that Chauncey Billups can post up Parker at any time.
Billups loses Parker. Nice move. Lost Parker, and Chauncey knocks it down. 13 points for him.
Billups has become a very disciplined point guard. He leads your team. He sets the tempo. He makes good decisions.
Parker gets free off the screen. 2-point game. Four minutes to halftime.
Ah, pretty.
Wide open. Hamilton tipped back up. San Antonio can tie it.
And they just ran Hamilton off of a staggered screen. That is 2 screens on the baseline. Wide open.
Duncan working on Rasheed Wallace. Wallace got a hand on it and then gets an arm on it.
Yeah, that was a tough play for Detroit. They got the first move, they got the block, and then they're calling right now, they thought that they had a travel by Duncan. Just watch the block. That was a clean block. Now, when Duncan makes the next move, definitely Rasheed Wallace gets him across the arm.
Second foul on Rasheed Wallace. Duncan, pretty good free throw shooter, all things considered, especially in the playoffs. He had that 15 for 15 night against Phoenix, and then followed it up with a 3 for 12 night against Phoenix. He's 1 for 2 tonight.
Yeah, we talked about him answering the bell. In this game already, Duncan has 12 points and 10 rebounds. 10 rebounds, very quietly doing it at both ends of the floor because he has 3 on the offensive glass.
Last time the game was tied, the score was 2-2. And now it's 33 all with 3:30 as soon as the ball is in. 30-33 remaining in the opening half. Hunter. Phillips. Parker coming out with him, and Chauncey's going to try from three-point land and doesn't make it, but they get it back to keep it alive with 3:12 remaining in the opening half.
That was an outstanding save by the guys. Outstanding.
You see Hamilton running all over the place, but being chased by Bowen.
Still have plenty of time.
And then you've got Lindsey Hunter committing the offensive foul as Ginobili goes down.
Yeah, see, that was frustration, Al. That was a nice move by Hunter, but he just got overly excited. And Ginobili was right on top of him. Keep an eye on it. Now watch that left forearm. The forearm's going to move Ginobili right out of there. And he helps him a little bit with a little bit of a flop.
Hunter with his third foul in a tie game. In this quarter for Detroit, Prince, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, and Rip Hamilton, 4 of their starters have combined for no points. 33 all. Spurs trying to take their first lead since 2-0. Ginobili can't do it. Ben Wallace off the glass.
Detroit is getting what they want. They're getting good looks at the basket. Rip Hamilton is struggling a little bit right now. He's 3 for 10, but he's getting good looks. So you never worry about that on the road. Just continue to run with your gun, and you're going to be wide open.
Arroyo with a shot clock at 5, knocks down a long 2.
Now he can do that. He can put points on the board for you, and he can get you some good assists. The problem is he's been a liability in the game so far off the dribble with Parker. But if you notice, they have him on Bowen right now.
Parker goes through everybody. Can't get the reverse to go down. Here comes Phillips.
Nice.
He feeds Arroyo, but it's knocked away.
Great steal.
Bowen gets a hand in. Ginobili feeds Parker. He goes by Phillips and puts it in.
Yeah, by San Antonio. Okay, staying with their group. Detroit has gone small. So you have Arroyo and Phillips in the back court. They move Hamilton up to the small forward position.
McDyess can't get it to drop. Duncan now with the rebound.
Yeah, I'm surprised. See, with Parker and Ginobili in the game here right now, you got to get the ball out and up. And right that time, Parker was not looking to go.
Here's Ginobili.
Ginobili's struggling now. He's only had 1 field goal, and he's just leaving a lot of things short.
And Hamilton drops that one in.
You know this guy is not going to be silent all night, Rip Hamilton, because you can see his motor is running. He's been out there the entire time, and he's working so hard that he's getting great looks. Just be happy with the looks, because he's going to put the ball in the basket.
Duncan. McDyess falls down, keeps it alive for Detroit. Phillips now from 3, in and out.
Told you early, Chauncey Billups shoots it over 40% during the season, over 40% in the playoffs. That was a 3-on-4. That was a disadvantage for the fast-breaking team. But what happened? They did not close him out. He'll take that shot.
About a 6-second differential, game and shot clock. Parker way short. And it will belong to Detroit for what might be the final possession. And timeout taken by Detroit, 20 seconds. 9.9 to go. One thing applies to any best of 7 in any sport, especially in a 2-3-2 that this one is, where you have 2 here, 3 in Detroit, 2 back here. The visiting team comes in. Now, of course, you'd like to win them both. But if you win one, if you win 1 of 2, then the home court advantage goes to you because you're going to get 3
Absolutely.
in a best of 5.
Yeah, but we have 2 teams here who are excellent road teams, especially at playoff time. So you know that's going to happen. The big thing in this series is going to be the adjustments from game to game. because the defenses are so talented and they sacrifice their energy and their bodies that they will make adjustment to what you are running. So offensively, you must tinker from game to game on some of your endings. And I like what Popovich did to get back in this game. He went to 5 subs instead of 3. He played 10 guys and got his ball club back.
Full court pressure on what might be the final possession of the half. It's knocked away, and they will not get a shot off. So very good defense with 9.9 seconds for San Antonio there. 2-point Detroit lead at the half. Let's go to Stuart Scott.
Chauncey Billups, a very tired Chauncey Billups. You're frustrated. You guys had a big lead. They came back. Why are you so frustrated right now, even with the lead?
Because we didn't score that last basket. We had what we wanted. Made a bad pass, but we all right. We right where we want to be at.
When you think about the fact that other than Rip's basket in the last minute, you were the only starter who scored in the second quarter, and you guys still have a lead, what do you walk into the locker room? What kind of mindset?
Well, we're playing the right way. I thought we got rattled a little bit the last 3 minutes, not getting the baskets or not getting the shots that we wanted. You can't expect them to go down all the time, but you can expect us to at least get a good look.
Is there a shower or something here, man? You're sweating. Go get toweled off.
Hard work, baby.
All right, Al, back to you.
Thank you, Stuart. Figured to be tight, figured to be exciting. Good first half. 2-point game. The defending champions on top of the club that won it all 2 years ago. Detroit 37, San Antonio 35. Back we come to San Antonio, Texas, game 1 of the NBA Finals. The Detroit Pistons on top of the San Antonio Spurs 37 to 35. Tonight's storyline is presented by Sprite. Some information for you coming up right here. Chauncey Billups had 11 points in the second quarter, 13 overall. Tim Duncan with 13 points and 13 rebounds. Pistons 7 blocks, 6 steals. Manu Ginobili only 4 points, 3 turnovers. It's a 2-point game. Contrast along the benches, though. Larry Brown very placid throughout the game. Greg Popovich very angry at many points during the game. A couple of early timeouts. What does Coach Hubie Brown think about it?
Well, I think Popovich had to be upset. His team was rusty, and they executed poorly in the first quarter. But he gambled. He went with Glenn Robinson and also Devon Brown, who they did not think. He's missed all these games with a herniated disc, and that group brought them back. Now, all of a sudden, you're going and you're saying, hey, Ginobili is struggling from the field, but Duncan is doing his number, 13 points, 13 rebounds, so that's okay. I've got to get bench production. Larry, I'm surprised Tayshaun Prince did not play in the second quarter. I don't know what the reason was for that. And then also, Billups and Hamilton are doing their thing. They're 9 for 20, they're scoring points, and the San Antonio guards better pay attention to these two guys. They can keep them in the game by themselves.
Pistons by 2 more insight now. Let's go to Michelle.
I spoke with Greg Popovich, Al, at halftime. He said the first part of the game was just, quote, god-awful. He said we played too much individual basketball. We didn't play as a team, and we simply have got to move the ball. He said we corrected it, and we started to lift our game physically to match what Detroit did in the first half, so he was pleased with that. He said only the second half will tell whether they listened to me about moving the ball better. Now let's go over to Stuart Scott with the Pistons.
Well, Michelle, Pop's best friend, Larry Brown, wasn't too happy either. He said once they got that big lead, he said some of our shots stopped falling. He said when we started to miss shots, we started to panic. We'd walk the ball up court, we give their defense time to set. I asked him why Tayshaun Prince didn't play that much. He said when Tay got 2 quick fouls, I decided as long as we had the lead or it was close, I was going to keep him on the bench. But he said we cannot have that guy not out on the court. We got to have him out in the court defending. Now he's got 4 fouls to give, and he'll be back out there. Al, he'll be back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Stuart. And Prince indeed will be starting the second half. As we get underway, Detroit has the first possession of the third quarter. This is Billups guarded by Parker. Now Prince with the ball with Ginobili on him.
Oh, beautiful.
Hamilton gets free, knocks one down.
Hey, Bruce Bowen tried to cheat playing Hamilton. There was a down screen on the right side. Bowen tried to cheat and go over the top. What happened? Rick just bumped to the corner.
Looks like Bowen also took a little shot in the snout right there. Back it comes to Ginobili beyond the arc to knock down a three-pointer, one-point game.
Yeah, they need him to get going. He's the energizer guy for this ball club. He makes it happen. The people love the flair that he plays with.
Chauncey Billups. Inside, Rasheed Wallace. High over Duncan. Ben Wallace is there. Prince resets. And there goes Billups, who gets away from Parker and knocks it down off the glass.
Yeah, see, you can't gamble like that. You cannot gamble on a score on a pass where he is only going to be 8 to 10 feet from the basket. You miss that steal, he's scoring.
Parker bouncing it back to Duncan. Tim missing. That's his money shot normally off the glass. And now Billups for Detroit. Detroit with a three-point lead. Hamilton, Bowen staying right with him.
That was a tough shot attempt. Bruce Bowen was right there, might have even deflected that shot. When you play against good defensive teams, you know that on the catch, you must be ready to shoot the basketball. You're only open for a split second here tonight.
Parker, and he had Wallace outside of him, missing underneath, but there for the follow.
Now, right now, Tayshaun Prince is saying, hey, that was an offensive foul by Muhammad. He moved me out of there, and that's how he scored. Well, in this game, there's going to be an awful lot of non-calls on physical contact in the painted area throughout this series.
4 points now for Nazr Mohammed. Shot clock is down to 6. Billups puts it up. Rebound to Mohammed. Mohammed plays a lot. The pattern normally with Nazr is he plays a lot in the first quarter, a lot in the third quarter, but not a lot in the fourth. That's when Popovich likes to go with Horry.
Well, see, Horry gives the defenses a major problem, plus he's the intangible guy.
Ginobili with a floater from the baseline, waved off, offensive.
Oh, wow. And now we have seen a number of guys attempting to take charges here tonight. Just watch this. You're going to see the defender was right there. Came across, took it right in the chest. Naturally, the people here are all upset because Ginobili scored another basket.
That would have given San Antonio the lead. Underneath, Prince, but he gets too deep underneath. And then it's knocked away and out of bounds off the Pistons.
If you post up deep tonight, at either end, you're being fronted. Now they're putting pressure on the passer to deliver an excellent pass. Then you've got to catch it in traffic. But here, the defenses are rotating from the other side of the floor. They don't give up on the play.
Prince caught it after he was fronted, but he was too far underneath the basket.
Oh, air ball.
Bowen misses a two-point attempt, and then Duncan is there to knock it back in to make it 42-41. It's the first lead since San Antonio scored the first basket of the night. Prince reverses. Taps it back out, but Duncan is there, and then Duncan gets tied up.
In the Prince-Ginobili situation, you could see Prince just shoot right up over the top. Now, as this goes out, just watch. This is just sheer strength. The one thing about Ben Wallace, he does not run back all the time. What he does is he tries to go for an outlet steal, or he tries to tie you up. You must be cognizant of that as we march through this series.
Wallace and Duncan, and Ben wins the tip. Then Billups knocks one down, and Detroit reassumes the lead. Meanwhile, Duncan has 15 rebounds to go with his 15 points.
5 at the offensive end. He's constantly working. Rasheed Wallace has got to keep him off the glass.
Duncan, 2 sore ankles, but he's at 8 days to rest.
Nice block.
Rasheed Wallace.
How about Rasheed's 5th block in this game?
And Ginobili with a reach in.
Now just keep an eye down in here. See, they do not need a double team on Duncan with Rasheed. Rasheed is an outstanding defender. He's long and he's a great shot blocker. He's showing it here tonight. Now I know Duncan's numbers are very, very impressive, but Rasheed sat out quite a bit. Rasheed still has 5 blocks in this game, and it's early.
Lay it off for Big Ben. And you've got the call against Detroit, and you can see how exercised Wallace is.
Yeah, well, Ben Wallace is upset because he thought that the defensive player is inside the circle right there, and he's absolutely right. It should have been a 2-shot foul.
Instead, it's Ben's first foul. 7.5 to go, third quarter. Parker,
look out.
Duncan was going the other way, and that's the turnover here. And the ball will belong to Detroit as it's knocked out of bounds.
San Antonio, for years, since Popovich has taken over, is one of the best transition defensive teams we have in the league. Detroit had a 3-on-2 right there, and they had passing lanes. You dribble the ball, one extra dribble, they close down those passing lanes, and that's what happened there. Rasheed, the pass was late, Rasheed was behind the back.
And there you have Brent Barry on the right who committed that foul, so that's his 4th, and he's back down on the bench.
Great block.
Big Dog Robinson is in with Barry down. And it will be the Spurs ball out of bounds off Detroit.
Yeah, things are a little wild here right now. There's a lot of energy being spent, and you have good defensive fundamentals, being executed. So offensively, you got to stay within what you're doing and get to the second and third option.
And again, you have a situation where Wallace knocks the ball back into the backcourt. That's not an 8-second violation, but they only have 6 right now on the clock. Duncan goes in, has that turned away, and put up and in somehow, some way by Mohammed.
Oh, baby! Ask him to do that again on the next time out.
Not in 20 chances.
Right.
Spurs by a point. Wallace, 3 on the shot clock. Turns the other way. And it lodges between the board and the rim.
Yeah, jump ball. All right, now, San Antonio is talking about the shot clock.
Yeah, the question was, did they get off the shot?
Right.
And they just barely did before the 24-second violation. That's what Popovich is calling for.
See, when Glenn Robinson came in this league, he was the #1 player picked in the draft by Milwaukee. He's had 8 seasons of over 20 points. Over the last couple of years, we've had injuries, and we've had a lot of missed playing time. And this was an excellent pickup by San Antonio, because you can use a guy like this, and they did down the stretch, and now he can step in here, and you must guard him, and you must pay attention and respect him, because he can put the ball in the hole for you and score quickly.
More on the big dog. Here's Michelle.
Well, Greg Popovich was asked before the game if Glenn Robinson would even be involved tonight, and Pop sort of said, sure, people get hurt or foul out. He hasn't played in 5 months. I'm not going to throw that guy in there because he used to score. But Glenn Robinson, the #1 overall pick by Milwaukee back in 1994, is playing some important minutes. Hubie, what do you think changed Greg Popovich's mind tonight about using him? Do you think he was sending a statement early in the game?
Now, what he's doing is he's trying to change the tempo of his team, especially in the first quarter when they were stagnant and their rhythm was totally out of control. He did not like what he was getting across his front line, so he went for a player of points. Now in this one, he felt he liked what he saw in Robinson in the first half, so he's coming back with him right away.
And they had a second jump ball in the period between Duncan and Wallace, both won by Big Ben. Hamilton tries to scoop it in, gets it back, misses again. Back comes Parker.
He'll take it to the hole.
And have it knocked away. Good play defensively by Billups, and then Chauncey winds up with the ball and a three-point shot that doesn't go.
At one end, we had an excellent block by Glenn Robinson. At the other end, we had a block by two defenders for Detroit. And when you get an opportunity here, you've got to make it count in the transition, in the fast break game.
Bowen will feed Duncan. Turning toward the baseline, and San Antonio has its biggest lead of game one.
Right now, Detroit is out of whack. They're coming down and they're shooting too quick. And at the other end, Duncan is being Duncan. He takes his time, and the defense is giving him his strong suit. And as you know, he can take it in the paint or he can hit that baseline jump shot.
Pistons are 1 for their last 9 from the field, and so Larry Brown stops the action. Timeout taken by Detroit. 5:19 remaining in the third. San Antonio up by 3. Coming up from San Antonio Sunday night, beginning at 8:30. Of course, we'll be right back here for the second game in this series. Detroit against San Antonio. 3-point lead for San Antonio. Joe Dumars, great Piston player. Now, of course, the architect of this club, looking on. His coach, who he hired 2 years ago, Larry Brown. We've been talking a lot about Larry. You know, you think of coaches, and they're obsessive, and that's all they think about, especially a guy in the finals. So we walk into Larry's office about an hour and a half before the game, and I notice on the desk is the book James Patterson's 4th of July. And I just happened to look at how far Larry's gotten into it, about 130 pages. So I said to him, when did you start this? He says, today. I said, wait a second, I know you spent an hour on the treadmill. He said, well, you know, I'm not really a speed reader. I'm thinking 130 pages on game day, you're Evelyn Wood.
Everyone relaxes differently in the afternoon. Some guys take naps, some guys go for a walk, some other fellas read a lot, some guys prepare for the game. Everyone is different. Larry, he relaxes by reading. Hey, not a bad way.
Beautiful, whatever it takes. Here's Duncan inside.
Right.
And Duncan's scoring and going to the line.
Right now, Rasheed Wallace has got to calm down. Duncan is having a typical playoff game. We told you he came into this series shooting 25 points a game and 13 rebounds. Now, he is doing it right now. He's getting the catches, and any time that he catches the ball at that defensive circle, you're in trouble, so you cannot continue to play behind them. Force them to make the pass over the top, and then say, hey, we're going to jam the passer, and we're going to deny the catch.
Rasheed Wallace with his 3rd personal foul. The San Antonio lead is now 4 points. Inside, Prince gets free, but he's short on the shot. Wallace can't follow. Here comes Robinson.
Yeah, Prince had an excellent look at that. I was surprised that he didn't take it stronger to the rim.
Dana Udrih from Slovenia. Backup point guard. Duncan now gets it from Robinson. Duncan works on Wallace. Ori shovels it over to Bowen. Good ball movement. Ginobili inside has it knocked away as the shot clock goes to 0.
Rasheed Wallace is doing an excellent job in rotating, deflecting the ball. That was a terrific rotation and strip of a dribbler.
A little over 4 minutes remaining. The Pistons in over half the period with just 4 points.
Oh, you have a mismatch here.
Hamilton driving. Is that contested? Then Rasheed Wallace gets fouled as Ori barks about the call.
If San Antonio is going to switch and the point guard, Udrih, is going to be on Wallace, okay? If that goes down, well, then you know yourself, you have got to see that. The ball should have gone back to the wing and then right down inside so that you penalize them for making that switch, so that they have to think about that if they're going to continue to play that defensively.
Duncan down again. That's Popovich's pattern. Duncan in and out, in and out.
There it is again. Now you got the mismatch here. You tried to go high-low.
Phillips.
Another block.
And then as Horry comes away, Ben Wallace knocks him down, commits the foul.
Remember we told you about Ben Wallace. You have to be careful because he does not automatically run back to the defensive end. He's going to jam up your outlet pass, go for a steal, try to get a deflection.
Mentioning Duncan in and out. Popovich prone to giving him little breathers. I mean, he'll normally be up around 40 minutes a game, but he'll sit him down 2, 3, maybe even 4 times during the game just to give him those small blows. Inside, Mohammed. Udrih comes up with it. Dana Udrih, the 22-year-old from Slovenia. Underneath, Wallace is there on Mohammed to contest the shot, and Ben Wallace comes away with the rebound.
We said in the first quarter, this is not a night for soft stuff.
No.
And it's not a night where you make a catch that you do not have an NBA move. Because tonight you're being challenged defensively at both ends.
And Prince.
Yeah, he needed that. He needed that to get going. He had a nice first quarter, but right now they need him because he's a quiet assassin.
2:44 remaining. Game 1, third quarter in San Antonio. The NBA Finals. San Antonio up by a deuce.
The defense has been excellent, and the boards have been excellent. And that's what it's about. We do that.
And with that as the preamble, it's time now for Cooler Talk presented by Gatorade, Hubie, and this is exactly what he was talking about. Defense, all defense, in fact, on both sides.
Well, the shot blocking has been absolutely outstanding, and then taking charge in the paint, and then steals and forcing turnovers. Both teams are already in double figures in turnovers, and then you have Detroit with 9 shot blocks, San Antonio with 5. But the amazing thing in this game, with all of the shot blocking, with all the physical contact, one team, Detroit, has attempted 8 foul shots, San Antonio 9. In the 3 previous rounds, San Antonio attempted 30 a game.
That's stolen again. Pistons with a chance to tie the game, and Billups will do it at 49 with 2:25 remaining in the period.
Now just think about this. In the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, San Antonio's averaging 14 turnovers. Already in this game, they have 13, and we still have a quarter and 2 minutes to go.
Let's go to Stewart.
Alan, that last time out, Larry Brown was telling his team, he said, guys, all of our little guys are the only ones shooting the ball. And the problem with that is it doesn't give anybody a chance to get back on defense. He said, we got to get the ball into our big guys. If our big guys shoot, our little guys can get back on defense. And then he told his big guys, he said, run down the middle of the floor and post up once you get into the lane. Al?
One of those big guys, Rasheed Wallace, just picked up his 4th personal foul as Mohammed goes to the free throw line.
Larry made an excellent point. Right now, Billups and Hamilton have attempted 30 shots. And when you look at Prince, Wallace, and Wallace, what you have here is 17 shots. Early in the game, they got up big. They were going inside to Rasheed Wallace. He was making things happen. Not only was he scoring, he was finding other people. And that's what Larry is trying to talk. Work inside out.
Billups getting a rest. Duncan, meanwhile, still on the bench, getting a fairly extended rest for the Spurs. Arroyo is in the game with Billups on the Detroit bench. Here's McDyess working on Horry, spinning one way, then the other, and moving his feet.
Yeah, that's just excellent defensive position, and then forcing an offensive player to adjust his pet move. In this series, very seldom are you going to be able to use your pet move at will. It's going to be challenged. They're going to force you into a secondary area. In that secondary area, you better have a game. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a poor percentage shot. Right now, both teams are struggling. They're shooting 36 and 38% here.
Duncan in, Mohammed out. Ginobili with a the right hand this time. He can go either way.
Well, that was a smart offensive player. He leaned right into the defender and knocked the defender off balance so that he could finish.
Has that blocked by Bowen.
Yeah, Bowen fought him on that curl move and then stopped him from getting into the lane. And then blocked the shot.
They work the perimeter. Parker. Arroyo stays with him, but Tony drives to the hoop, can't make it. Duncan missed the follow. Final minute of the period. Big Ben underneath.
Great block.
Pass, good block, and Prince gets it back, and Prince gets hammered, and he's hurt as Ori has to hold him up for the moment. So Larry Brown's been in the hospital twice this year, but basically Detroit has had a fairly injury-free year. And then you see something like this and you begin to wonder, I don't know whether that's a shoulder, arm injury, but Prince, at least for the moment, will go to the free throw line.
Now, in the coaching profession, we call that a good hard foul.
Very.
It is playoff time. Okay? There are no gimmies at playoff time, especially in the finals.
And it figures to be that way this entire series. Hamilton will get a rest as the period winds down. Billups is back in. Prince trying to make it a two-point game. And does, despite getting hammered on the left shoulder. The southpaw makes the ball 53-51, San Antonio.
With this group on Detroit, you can go inside to Prince on Ginobili. At the other end right now, you want San Antonio to move the basketball, and please do not forget about Duncan.
Parker's short, but there is Ginobili in the traffic, in the lane with the follow.
His game is about heart. He can have a bad shooting night, and he can end up with 15 to 20 points. Because he'll get him on second shot attempts, getting to the foul line, and getting out on the break.
3-second differential, Detroit milking the clock. Here's Arroyo. Ginobili gets the rebound, 3 seconds. Mono looked up at the clock, launches it from half court.
A little grease on that ball out. Come on.
Just a tad. To 14 is the differential in favor of the Spurs in the third quarter. They erase a deficit at halftime, lead by 4 now. End of 3 in the opening game of the finals. Spurs 55, Pistons 51. The NBA Finals on ABC resumes after this message and a word from our ABC stations. End of 3 in San Antonio. Spurs on top 55-51. Al Michaels with UB Brown, Michelle Tafoya, Stuart Scott. Opener, NBA Finals. UB, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. A lot of people will say, well, that's really ugly. It's really low scoring. 106 points after 3. But the game is so tough, so contested right now, that most people will have to appreciate it. It might not be elegant, you have to appreciate it.
No, that's well said, Al. What you have here is defense at its best. When you talk that you already have 16 shot blocks in a game, that's staggering. Detroit with 9, San Antonio with 7. Then the forced turnovers, the deflection. Guys are playing with their hearts within excellent game plans. The defensive philosophy here tonight has been outstanding.
Prince missing. Barry with a rebound. He has 4 fouls.
See, they'll adjust now from game to game. They'll get better within their offensive rhythm. Because when you don't see this kind of defense every single game, especially in rounds 1, 2, and 3.
But remember again, the teams 1 and 2 in defense this year, and last year these teams finished tied for first. They each allowed the same number of points over an 82-game season. Detroit, of course, would go on to win it all.
What coaches love here, anyone who has played this game
or coach this game. No one is open for more than a split second. You think he's open, and you make the easy pass, and that ball is deflected right out of bounds, and now they're forcing you on the shot clock.
3 seconds on the shot clock. And that means Wallace will have to put it up off the glass.
Big
and
bang.
even Larry has to shake his head. Ben will tell you that's what he had in mind. You figure it out. 55,
Big thing is, take it.
Yep.
Take it.
Ginobili.
Now, see, they got the switch here now. Prince is,
They got the switch, and they get the blocking foul, and Wallace is irate.
Wallace is, for a big man, he's so quick on his feet. And then when an offensive player changes direction off the dribble, just watch him guess here now. All right, you see now it depends upon the angle. That was a bad camera angle for us. Okay.
And now you've got a technical coming because you've got Ben Wallace doing what Rasheed does a lot, takes off the headband, fires it down, and so Ginobili will shoot the technical first.
Now, you're coaching Detroit or you're Ben Wallace. I just out-quicked Ginobili, and I should not be punished by picking up a foul that time. I guessed where he was going, but now it comes down to the angle that the referee has on that play. And then again, which team is cheering for? That always enters in now.
Of course. Mohammed to Parker, into Duncan now. 8 on the clock. Parker, spin around that goaltending.
That's the first time that the post player for San Antonio has given off that handoff on the baseline. See, this is Parker's game. He'll take it on the baseline, take it behind the backboard, look outside, no three. I'm taking it to the rim because I'm a scorer first.
The full spin job, 5-point lead. Billups can't lose Parker. Shot clock at 3. Dice from the baseline. Ginobili clears the glass.
That was a very nice pass by Ben Wallace to give it up, and you had a high percentage shot there. McDyess, that's his game on the baseline.
Ginobili all the way.
Well, you know this guy. Ginobili doesn't care about physical contact. He's taking that ball right down in there, and he's going to challenge you right to the final whistle.
Largest lead of the game for the Spurs. Crowd rises as one.
Now just watch how clever he is. He'll take it right into you, and he is not concerned about your shot blocking ability or the fact that he's going to take contact. And how about the fact there was no call?
Manu Ginobili now has 14 points and 8 rebounds in this game, and what a year it has been for him. If you look back to the end of last season, he got married the same day he re-signed with the Spurs, won an Olympic gold medal with Argentina where he led that team in scoring, played in his first All-Star game in February, and now his second NBA Finals appearance, 3rd of his career, and his popularity, Al, has gone through the roof locally. A local couple named their newborn baby Ginobili this week, and Manu told me tonight that while he's very honored by that, he said, my last name is not common, so I wonder what the kid is going to say when he's 15 years old.
There may be a few kids named Ginobili a few years down the road as Chauncey Billups knocks one down after the timeout to make it 60-55.
Yeah, that was an excellent move by Larry Brown. Chauncey Billups is shooting a high percentage, the only one on his ball club. He's now 9 for 16 from the field. He has 21 points, so Larry is running him in that down position.
And with Hamilton on the bench, on cue, Manu. 62-55. You know, with the Pistons, they scored 17 points in the first 7 minutes of the game. They have 38 now over about the last 32 minutes.
Well, they need somebody in the front court to get going. No front court player has.
McDyess beating the shot clock, but not getting it to drop, and out of bounds off Detroit.
Well, see, Larry made a good point. The backcourt people are getting all the shot attempts, or the majority. His front court people are now 9 for 27. Now you say, well, they got 27 shots. Well, the two guards have 32 already. He feels that they can score up inside, and then the guards, they will get there because they have good matchups for them that they can really score on as we move through the series.
Parker, 1-2, knocks that down. And the Spur lead is 9 points with 8 minutes to go in game one. Detroit well ahead in steals, ahead in blocks, but behind on the scoreboard. And Mohammed is there to knock it away.
Another block.
Ginobili, and we've got a blocking foul. And the basket will count.
Oh, baby. Oh. When you're coaching against a team, you can't do anything about this. That is just a miraculous shot. But the key is he wanted the contact. We can't underline that enough. He is taking the ball right into the heart of the defense.
Ginobili 6 out of 7 since the half. He has 15 points in the half. He has already brought the house down. And the San Antonio Spurs trailing early. Rallied, made it a game by the end of the first quarter, and right now threatening to blow it away. On top 67-55, 7.5 to play in San Antonio. San Antonio, Texas. Third time in 7 seasons the NBA Finals have been played here. They had the truncated year, 99, a lockout, shortened season. Spurs won the championship, beat the Knicks in the finals. 2 years ago, they knocked off the Nets in the finals, and here they are again. Pistons, of course, in the finals for the second year in a row, but right now down by a dozen halfway through the fourth quarter. And Prince makes it a 10-point game.
Now Prince is the only Detroit front court performer now in double figures, and he only has 11.
Parker behind his back, Duncan fumbled it, gets the shot off, and then the follow by Najee Mohammed. What a mid-season pickup he was, came over from the Knicks, and especially with Duncan injuring his ankle, missing a lot of time down the stretch in the regular season, Mohammed has stepped up big. 10 points for him tonight. Prince.
I feel that Prince can score and get to the basket and get a high percentage shot anytime that he wants. Now, that will be corrected, and I think that will be dwelled upon, and they'll do that as we move through the series. Now, we realize that he sat out the entire second quarter of this game.
Parker had it taken away, and I think the shot clock got reset accidentally is what happened here. The ball, of course, has to hit the rim, and what happened is the 24-second operator quick on the trigger too quick because the shot clock should have kept on rolling, and instead the officials are quick to note that it got reset when it shouldn't have at 24 seconds. That's the reason for the stoppage.
Yeah, tonight I think that the three guys who are refereeing tonight, this has been a very difficult game to call because of the incredible shot blocking, 17 that we've had in this game, plus the body contact where you're going to say, hey, really, no blood, no foul. But Javi, Garretson, and Callahan have been doing a terrific job at both ends of the floor. This game tonight, being an ex-NBA coach, has been a game for men. I mean, you have got to want to get into the paint tonight and to excel once you get below that foul line. And you had to come tonight with a game. You had to come with an offensive game.
And it figures to be a series like that. Duncan, as they reset the shot clock to 4, no problem. Hamilton lost it.
Now this is just a great move. Now he had to fight Rasheed Wallace off. Rasheed was going to deny that pass. But once he used that bump move with the forearm, he cleared up the baseline pass. Pass was right on the money.
Muhammad pressured outside by Rasheed Wallace. Gives it up to Duncan. Turnaround. And the Spurs right now unstoppable, up by 16.
They're playing their game now. Take away the first quarter. They've dominated quarters 2, 3, and 4. They're winning the battle of the paint by over 16 points. They're winning the battle of second shot points.
Knocked away by Muhammad. Collected by Parker.
He's going to the hole.
Drew Billups gets fouled.
When you have two guards, when we came on the air, we brought out a big point. Can you play them for 48 minutes off the dribble? And that's going to be the toughest assignment for this Detroit defense. Can you guard Ginobili and Parker and then Duncan off the dribble? That's going to be the big key.
For 48 minutes, as you say, because early on in the first half, they were able to do those things. They forced 4 turnovers by Ginobili. Parker got off to a slow start. But in the second half, a completely different story.
They're getting what they want now. And on that baseline cut, Parker got one layup on the left side on the previous play. Duncan gave him the fake, kept it back. The defenders got 2 on the guy, cutting in the basket.
Hamilton scores. You look at the backcourt numbers for the Spurs after each guy started slowly. Ginobili 19, Parker 15, and then you throw in Duncan's 24. Muhammad stripped. Rasheed Wallace.
Nazr Muhammad has had a solid game now. He's got double figures. He's done a good job blocking shots. Good job rebounding.
Almost a clean block there, but instead the foul is called. Here's Stewart.
Guys, you talked about Parker and Ginobili constantly getting into the lane. This is nothing that's a surprise for the Pistons. In their locker room, they have a lot of different quotes and game plans on their chalkboard. Something that was written in capital letters and underlined. It says, play Ginobili and Parker as drivers. They're not even thinking about those guys as jump shot takers. It says, play them as drivers. They're trying. It just ain't working right now, guys.
Right. And those guys are still driving.
That's right. Well, Stewart, it's easy to say if the guy doesn't have a game. All right, just get in front of him. But when you have the quickness of a Parker and the quickness of a Ginobili, both guys stop on a dime, cross over, change direction, and then they finish right in your face because they both have the baby hooks with either hand once they get down in there.
Chauncey Billups leading Detroit in scoring tonight. He has 23. No other Piston has more than 12.
Pop's getting his movement now. That they've really moved the ball in the second half from side to side, spread out that defense. Nice pass.
Bowen loves it from there. You'd never know by that shot.
Now that was the second air ball of this game.
Well, Bowen is normally deadly from the corners. Hunter drives through and he scores. And then Popovich, I think, is full of more angst than Larry Brown. I didn't think that was possible.
Yeah, but, you know, he said to us before the game tonight, the game is never over with Detroit and Chauncey Billups in the saddle.
Don't forget, Pop was the guy who, when he was leading 3-0 in the Phoenix series, said, tonight's a must game. For who? For us? What? 74-63. 11-point game. 4:11 remaining in the fourth quarter. And after Popovich took the timeout, San Antonio to inbound the ball, and Detroit putting the pressure on. In backcourt. Parker. Into the front court. 4 minutes remaining in game one. Duncan. Hunter comes in, can't make the steal. That means Bowen free from the corner. Very unusual. Bowen missing tonight from all over, and then Mohammed misses on the dunk attempt.
They're going to double team Duncan on the dribble, and then they're going to allow Bowen to be open in the corner.
Bowen with a foul in here.
Right now, Bruce Bowen is 0 for 5, okay? And he's 0 for 3 in threes. So they're going to force him to make that shot. So that double team was quick. You have plenty of time here right now. 3:41, you're only down 11. The big thing is now is you've got to get high percentage shots.
That was Bowen's fourth foul. Nice move by Phillips, but then contested underneath, and the foul is on Duncan. 74-63. One thing about the Pistons and their resiliency the other night, when they won that game against Miami on the road, they became only the second team in history to win a Game 7 on the road when trailing going into the fourth quarter. The only other team to do it was the Lakers in Game 7 3 years back against Sacramento in that classic overtime game in the Western Finals, and that's the same thing Detroit was able to do the other night in South Florida.
I like what Greg Popovich told us this evening, and that is one of his 3 keys is to try to contain Chauncey Billups. We know that he's dangerous at the end of every quarter, but he's dangerous down the stretch in the fourth quarter. He can bring the team back.
25 points now for Billups. Back to single digits. It's a 9-point game. Parker loses it.
Give it up. Give it up.
And they give it up to Hamilton for the stop, and now all of a sudden it's 74-67.
Right now, you got Lindsey Hunter in there with Billups in the backcourt. They have Rip Hamilton up front. They're small, but they're quick. That was an outstanding defensive rotation and steal by Lindsey Hunter.
10 straight points, and that's turned a 17-point lead into a 7-point lead in less than 2 minutes. 3 minutes to play in the game. Bowen, 3 on the timer. Rebound out of bounds, belongs to San Antonio.
Yeah, that's a tough roll of the dice right there. They played that as well as you could play defensively. They rotated on 3 different kickouts. They made a sensational play in the paint, but they're forcing Bruce Bowen to make the shots.
Ginobili with the fresh clock. Gets the inbound. Works his magic through the lane, and with one hand for the dunk.
Hey, when you go small, you're taking away one of your shot-blocking rotators. And right now, they had 2 guards rotating in, and that was Ginobili over the top of the defense.
He sensed it, exploited it, and you get a block here on the other end. .2:15 remaining.
Yeah, you got to make a big stand right now.
5 on the shot clock. Ginobili to launch. Got it. 3-pointer.
That was the dagger right there. That was big.
You run the clock all the way down, and then you do put the dagger in. 120 seconds remaining in the game, and San Antonio has stretched the lead to an even dozen.
This guy is just, he continues to attack. You can never relax when he's on the floor. And then with the shot clock down, you must close him out. But then that's easy. What happens if he goes to the hole?
You know, Phoenix and Dallas can play basketball one way, and it's a lot of fun. And then you have these guys, and they play it in an entirely different manner. It doesn't mean you can't appreciate it or enjoy it, because a lot of people like to tie sports in to work ethic and hard work and all of the rest. And the Pistons became kind of the poster boys for that last year. and the Spurs play the same way. So while it's not elegant and graceful and you don't have a lot of points, it's a heck of a basketball game.
Oh, absolutely. We have seen some outstanding athletic moves here tonight. And then what you really love is the fact that San Antonio, after that first quarter, Duncan carried them in that first half. But now Parker, Ginobili, Mohamed have stepped up in the second half. Their defense has been outstanding, and then they've been able to wear you down.
Hamilton can't get it to drop. Backs it out, but Ginobili comes away with it. So San Antonio has the ball and a 12-point lead with a minute 46.
I see, this is where they're tough. They have people who can isolate you, break you down, and then the ball movement. The ball movement, they'll run time on the clock.
Ginobili.
Hello. Oh. Made that look easy.
Manu Ginobili has scored 15 points in the fourth quarter. He had 9 coming into the quarter. Hunter misses him outside. Bowen to Ginobili. Words just come in. 10 more kids have been named Ginobili tonight.
I really love a quote by Pop. And they asked him, you know, how did you rein in Ginobili? He plays at such an incredible speed. He said, we had to get across to him that pace is more important than speed. And that is a great statement because this guy is playing full throttle. And I'm happy that they're doing right now. The crowd just appreciated his performance here this evening. And when you think about it, he did it all basically in 2 quarters.
Phenomenal 15-point fourth quarter. You got a jump ball here, which Duncan almost controlled, but winds up in the hands of the Pistons as we tick down to a minute. Arroyo. And going underneath and putting in is Darvin Ham, who will get to finish out the game. He's in for the first time tonight.
Well, this is San Antonio at their best. They're a monster in this building. 38-3 during the year, and they've only lost 1 playoff game, and that was to Denver in this building. Now, I expect with the days off in between here, now we're going to play on the 3rd night. We'll be off on Friday, off on Saturday. Detroit will have a chance to rest up and practice. And you have to remember, they played Monday night in Miami. That's difficult. Fly home. They tried to get their team the day off. They practiced, then they had to fly to San Antonio. Now, that's not an excuse. What it is a statement of fact. I expect them to see them that they'll be able to maintain a better effort over the 48 minutes.
After the Mathias basket, they can just about run the clock out here, take it almost all the way down to the end. And San Antonio will lead 1-0. And as is always the case in a best-of-7 in any sport, the pressure really falls on the team that is down 0-1. And why not? That's the perfect way here to wrap up their scoring. 84-69. Last year, the Pistons won Game 1 on the road and then wound up beating the Lakers in 5. They'll have to do it in a different manner this time around. 2 days off, and Game 2 is coming up on Sunday night before we head to Auburn Hills for 3, 4, and 5. Here is Michelle.
All right, starting with Manu Ginobili, 4 points in the first half, 3 turnovers. Boy, did you come alive, particularly in the fourth quarter. How did things begin to open up for you?
Little things, a couple of rebounds, a couple of assists that went good, didn't turn the ball over, so I got more confident. I started a little shaky, not very sure of myself. Too many mistakes, but in the second half I could change that thing.
It's often been said about you, Manu, that you can be fueled by anger when you're frustrated and down in a game. How much of a factor was that in the second half?
Yeah, that was it. I made 3 fouls early in the third quarter. I had to go back to the bench. I struggled in the first half, so I was very upset. I tried to play with more energy and more aggressive.
Well, we got at least that from you. Congratulations. We turn to your teammate, Tim Duncan. And Tim, You carried this team through the first half. What was going through your mind as the struggles continued early?
We knew it was going to be like this. These guys are a heck of a defensive squad, and that's what you saw in that first half. I think we all started with a little bit of jitters coming out of that break and just starting this game. Had some turnovers early, missed a dunk, just things like that. Just had to have the game start coming to me. And once it started going there, I think everybody got comfortable and we played through it.
What, if anything, about this Detroit team did you see tonight that concerns you going forward in the series?
Well, we know they're a heck of a team, and they showed it tonight. For 3 quarters there, they really held us down. We didn't execute our offense very well. They were in every passing lane, contested every shot, and we know it to be like that the entire series.
Tim, congratulations on the Game 1 win. Thanks.
Thank you.
Al, back to you guys.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Tim Duncan and the Spurs on top 1-0. Win it 84-69. NBA Finals opening up in Texas. We'll wrap it up from San Antonio in a minute. Going back to their days as the Fort Wayne Pistons, the Pistons have collectively now played 34 games in their finals history. This is the fewest points they have scored. 84-69. San Antonio wins it with Game 2 coming up Sunday night here on ABC. Next on ABC, except on the West Coast, stay tuned for your late local news, Nightline, and Jimmy Kimmel. Now until Sunday, Al Michaels for Hubie Brown, Michelle Tafoya, and Stuart Scott saying so long from San Antonio.